How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Since you're here and I'm glad you asked, I'll tell you my top 3 tips to building muscle. We're gonna keep them simple. Number 1, I need you to challenge yourself with your weight selection for the rep ranges that you're targeting. If you're trying to build strength, then that's where the super low volume reps with max weight is gonna come into play. A lot of people, and I talked about this in my last video, think that when you're trying to put on a lot of size or you're bulking, that means that you're gonna do super low reps with a lot of weight. That's how you build strength. The way we wanna build size and muscle mass is through hypertrophy. So I wanna be strong and build muscle mass, so I still mix in some of those low rep ranges with max weight. But I also, like let's say we're doing a set of 8, 12, 16, all the way up to 20, because there's a lot of studies that show anywhere between 5 and 20 is a good muscle building rep range. But whether you're picking 10 or 20 reps, what I need you to do is pick weight that, let's say if we'll just use 10 reps, that is going to challenge you through that rep range. Meaning, if you pick up a weight and you do 10 reps with it, and at your 10th rep, you had 10 more in the tank, you use too light a weight. Now, I want you to use perfect form, and if your form starts to break down because you've picked too heavy of weight, you need to check your ego. And you need to go down in weight and maintain that perfect form, because the proper range of motion is also going to be a major factor in increasing your muscle mass, your strength. And studies actually show that a lot of the muscle stimulus, a lot of the growth stimulus is in the stretch portion of the lift. That's why in a couple videos ago, it was our leg day from hell video. Eric asked me a question about if I'm a stretch or a squeeze guy, and I said I'm actually a stretch guy now, because even though the contraction feels like that's where the majority of the work's being done and what should be making it grow, it's actually the majority in the stretch. So I want you to pick weight that you can control, but it's really gonna challenge you. So to go back to that 10 rep range, I want you to pick something that, like if you're gonna do 3 sets, that maybe on set 2, and they call them progression sets, it's not just for the sake of going through the motions to do progression sets. The point of them is you're trying to feel out, all right, for my top set or my really working 2 or 3 sets or whatever it might end up being that you choose to do, I've now dialed in the right amount of weight to use for that desired rep range. So let's say on set 2 of 10 reps, you realize, okay, I could have got maybe 12. Well, that was a pretty good weight selection. Now on set 3, I'm gonna go up a little bit more, and I'm gonna see if I can get 10 reps for that total all out. I like to train till failure. Everyone has an opinion on that, but giving it everything you have, making sure again that form's perfect, and we're really challenging ourselves with the weight. Tip number 2, time under tension. And if you're gonna give it like a little sub 2 for a full range of motion, which I also talked about on point number 1. So 1A and 2A are both full range of motion. So time under tension is important because we don't want to just speed through our reps. If I just handed you a 10-pound weight and said, here, hold this for 2 seconds and I take it right back from you, or I hand you that weight and I ask you to hold it for 10 seconds, obviously holding it for 10 seconds is gonna be much more difficult. It's gonna be more time of having to work, putting that workload on the muscle. So by slowing the reps down, you're gonna have to use less weight. Again, I think you're picking up on a reoccurring theme here that I had to learn the hard way. We've all done it, maybe not all of us, maybe you didn't. Maybe you're just that humble guy from humble beginnings that came into the gym with a great attitude and has just done everything right the whole time. That wasn't me. I came in angry and I ego lifted and I did a lot of things that were honestly kind of stupid. I would lift way too heavy, way too quick, with not very great form. It worked in the beginning. You get that little beginner gains, you're doing something new, the body adapts, and then you plateau, and you plateau hard. And I wanted to break that plateau. So what I had to do was finally get over my ego, lower the weight down, and start doing things the right way. Especially over time, when I was still moving pretty quick through my reps, I started building up enough strength where I was having to use a lot of weight to really get the stimulus I was looking for. So then by slowing it down, I feel like I keep saying so very emphatically. And if I'm doing that and it's bothering you, make it a drinking game while you're in the gym. We're going to slow down the reps and flex through the contraction and resist during the stretch. So that time under tension becomes extremely important. And I've been able to make my muscles respond in a way that they're growing, but I'm actually getting stronger too. Even though I had to check my ego and take a few steps back. You've heard that saying, sometimes you gotta take a step back to take 2 steps forward. That applied here for me. I hated having to use less weight because I felt like I was going backwards. But it was worth it because then when I learned how to control it properly, not only were my muscles growing and I was getting what I wanted to see in the mirror, but I also became stronger because I was able to control that weight through the movement for longer periods of time. And then I broke that next plateau. So tip number 2, time under tension with a full range of motion. And that time on the stretch, I talked a little bit in point 1 about it, is really important. I want to really don't think of squeezing, like to use these leg extensions as an example. Don't think of squeezing just at the top of the rep, the end of the rep. I want to think of squeezing throughout the entirety of the rep. So from right when the rep starts, I'm already trying to squeeze. And it's one long, consistent contraction instead of just using momentum to then try to force a contraction. Especially if I threw a bunch of weight on, you use a lot of momentum right out of the gate to get it moving, and then I try to force the squeeze at the end. But instead, I want to squeeze throughout the entirety of the rep and then control it all the way down. So we're getting gross stimulus through that negative as we're fighting the weight down, and then we're getting gross stimulus through the contraction as well. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3, equally as important, if not more important than tips 1 and 2, because without tip number 3, 1 and 2 really won't matter that much. And number 3 is you need to eat in a calorie surplus, meaning you are eating more calories, or at least eating a maintenance, meaning you're eating as many calories as you're burning. But I would rather see, especially trying to build more muscle, you're gonna have a much better chance of being able to build that muscle if you're eating in a calorie surplus, which means you're eating more than you're burning. And I want you to prioritize your protein intake. You can't just fill a bunch of calories up with just carbs and fats. You need to be eating a high protein diet. I get that from lean meat sources. That's the easiest way to do it. And then I supplement with our protein shakes. I'm usually around 250 grams of protein a day, but that's because I'm over 200 pounds. So you've heard the old rule, a gram of protein per pound of body weight that you're trying to get to. Some people think it's dumb. I think it's a decent rule of thumb to go with. It's worked for a long time for a lot of people. I'll let you do your own research and decide on that, but where I'm just focusing on is that you have to eat enough. You have to eat enough to give your body the building blocks from the protein that it needs to grow, to build that muscle, to repair the muscle that you've broken down with your workouts. I drink a lot of water, at least 1 gallon to 2 gallons a day, especially right now, to kind of shift gears from going from building muscle. I'm in a shred, so I'm trying to pull off body fat, and staying hydrated and doing all the cardio that I'm doing is extremely important. But even if you're not shredding, you still need to be drinking a ton of water. If you're taking creatine, that's a great muscle building supplement. We sell that at Lifted. I know a guy. We got some protein too. Those are things that you can use to supplement your protein intake. And I know it sounds weird coming from somebody that owns a supplement brand, but I would actually rather see you get your protein intake from real whole foods. I want to see you eat enough real whole foods, healthy, clean foods to support your muscle growth, and then use the supplements to fill the gaps or to just add a little extra to get over the top of where you're trying to be. That's how I do it, and it's worked very well for me. I don't just rely on shakes all day and don't eat enough. I eat as much as I possibly can and then add the shakes in with the creatine as well.
My name is Jacob McLaughlin, and I'm the founder of New to Medical Device Sales. Medical device sales is the selling of medical equipment to hospitals, surgeons. They're actually in the surgeries, and the average rep's going to make around $177,000. And what we've been able to do is help people break in about 8 weeks at around $100,000 starting out in the industry. It usually is 5 to 7 interviews, 6 to 12 weeks long in the interview process, and they go up against thousands of people. But that's because you are going to be working with some of the smartest human beings, such as surgeons. You're going to make over 6 figures. You get your car paid for, all your gas paid for, and all your travel paid for. We've been able to help over 2,000 people do this in the last 2 years. Not only do we help people break in to make a difference and change other people's lives, they also get to change their lives. If you're interested in helping people and you're interested in financially becoming free, we can definitely help you. And I think you should check out New to Medical Device Sales, our podcast, while you can also click the link where you guys can learn more about what we do at New to Medical Device Sales. I absolutely love Brenton. I thank him so much for what he's doing for all of you, and I hope you guys keep enjoying the episode.
I think I am going to give you guys a little leg hike, because what that says is I do need to go up to my office, but I'm also willing to linger and talk to you a little bit more. I am running a 90-day shred. It's the first time ever. You're going to be able to shred with me for 90 days doing exactly as I do. All of my workouts, my cardio, my diet, my motivation tactics to keep myself locked in and sticking to the grind. You come into it, you have this excitement, like you're ready to do the hard things. And then as time goes on, you start to feel like it gets a little mundane. I don't really feel like doing it today. And that's when it matters most. So I'm gonna help you through that, because not only is that gonna make you successful in this 90-day challenge with me, that's a self-discipline that then translates to other areas of life. And being able to stick things out even when it's boring or hard or you're tired, getting yourself to still do the difficult things you don't wanna do but need to do is an essential part of life. It's an essential part of being successful in many different areas of life. So check out the link in the bio. We're gonna be in this together. This isn't just like you sign up and it's just some carte blanche thing you follow and I'm hands off. I'm going to be in the trenches with you. I've already started shredding for the last 2.5 weeks. So I'm gonna be coming into the shredded, and we're gonna keep pushing it through those 90 days. I'm gonna lead by example, and I'm gonna give you every single thing you need to be successful in this challenge. And if you join the VIP tier, you're gonna meet me here and we're gonna do a workout together. But you'll be ready for it because you just did 90 days of the hardest challenge you've probably ever done in your entire life. You have anything else to say? You guys have a nice day.